this channel, we have talked a lot about sleep, diet, exercise, weight loss, but there is one important pillar to health that I feel like we haven't really touched upon, and that I hear very few people talk about, that is so profoundly powerful and so delicious, and that is sunshine. So today we're going to cover why sunshine is so important to health and what you need to look out for in order to make sure you get the benefits from the sun. Because a lot of people actually block out these benefits by wearing things like sunglasses, which I don't have anything against sunglasses, but it is important that we also get sunshine directly into our eyes without them. So let's dive into it. First of all, I want to mention that it is not necessary to live in a warm climate in order to get the benefits from sunshine. Personally, currently I live in Germany, and I would still say that with a little few tweaks, I'm always able to still make sure I get in sunshine even during the winter time. Of course, it's not the same as if you live in a tropical or subtropical climate. But yeah, with a few things, you can still get in all those benefits from the sweet golden grail, the sun. And first of all, I want to mention why sun is so important. The main biggest thing I always notice when I do get sunshine in is my hormones, my hormone production, when it comes to, most importantly, the sleep hormones, melatonin, also feeling energized, so cortisol and serotonin, feeling more happy, feeling more joyful and at ease and relaxed. All these different productions get hugely impacted by the sun. The other one is, you probably already know, vitamin D. Yes, we can get vitamin D supplements. Personally, I also do supplement vitamin D a little bit during the gray time of the year here in Germany. And then also for nerve energy. So I'm sure we all know that feeling when we haven't really had the best night of sleep and we feel kind of a little bit under the weather the next day. And the same can happen not only from lack of sleep, but it can also happen from lack of sunshine. Again, because it can interfere with the optimal hormone production and regulation in the body, and also because we can run low on vitamin D. And then there are also other things. So I'm not at all into breatharianism and I do not recommend it, but some people say that you can solely live off of in German, it's called Lichtnahrung, so it means light nourishment. So it's actually not just through the breath, but by doing things like sun gazing and looking into the sun with your eyes closed, you can actually get energy that is similar to the energy you get from the calories in the food, which ultimately, if you eat an apple, for example, it is basically, the calories in the apples is also sun energy that has been put into the fruit by hanging on the tree and absorbing the sunshine from above. So I still think that calories are super important and eating is important, but we can definitely get energy, and I can definitely clearly feel that in the winter I do feel like I need more calories than in the summer where I get a lot of sun. That's why I also think that the summer is a great time for weight loss, because you can basically much easier eat the appropriate amount, which is still an abundant amount, especially if you focus on a high carbohydrate, low fat diet, which is what I promote on this channel. You can still eat abundantly, but yeah, we just have to face the fact that if we want to release weight, at least for a period of 1 to 3 months, it is, of course, advisable to eat a tiny little bit less, and that can be very easy by applying some of the strategies which we have already covered a lot on this channel, so I won't go into that today. But yeah, today I want to get into some strategies on how to absorb more of the benefits from the sun. So the first one that I think is really, really important is that even when it's cloudy outside, we can still get some UV light on our skin, on our eyes. Of course, we're not absorbing it as strongly, but it is still there. So even when it's maybe a little bit cloudy it's always worth it to get on your shoes and go out for a little walk or run or bike ride or whatever it is that you enjoy doing outside. And then the other one is to, at least for some time of the day, ditch your sunglasses, because the thing is, when we wear sunglasses, we're basically putting a block between us and the sun, so we can no longer get the benefits from the sun. And if we have no sunglasses on, then we're actually getting much more in touch with this powerful life force, which the sun really is. So I really don't have anything against sunglasses, especially if the sun is out really, really strong. I understand why, it might be a good idea to put them on. Personally, I do not really wear sunglasses anymore. When the sun is really, really strong, I just make sure that I either go into the shade or, I don't stay in there for more than half an hour, or I wear a hat. But yeah, to me, it's really, really important to still really absorb because we also actually do absorb some vitamin D through our eyes. So especially if you're living in a colder climate where the sun isn't as strong, then that can be really, really helpful. And then also, of course, the timing is really, really important. So personally, when it's like high summer season, I make sure I do not go out at noon for more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and I stay in the shade in that time, but I make sure that my sunbathing periods are more like in the early morning, so after getting up out of bed, and then also in the later afternoon. But yeah, that period from 11 to 1 or 2 p.m. I really don't stay in the sun too long, or I make sure like I'm covered with clothes and hat. That already alone, that one thing has enabled me to not need sunscreen for the last few years. And yeah, I think I have gotten burned maybe once or twice, just a tiny little bit on my nose, but other than that, no sunburn. What also plays into here, and also with the eyes though, is hydration in the body. So when the body is well hydrated, then the eyes are less sensitive. And for me personally, even when the sun is really strong outside, it doesn't really hurt my eyes to be in the sun without sunglasses. But of course, I still know that it's not ideal to get so much intensity and strongness from the sun. So I try my best and do my best to not be in the sun at that time, unless it's like spring or autumn, because in that time, at least in Germany right now, the sun isn't that strong anyways. And then the last one that I'll share in this video is to have a nice cozy sunbathing spot, whether that is in your garden, on your balcony, or just outside if you don't have any of that, in nature somewhere on some bench, where you get into the habit of sunbathing and being outside on a regular basis and not overdoing it as well to the point where you're red, of course. But yeah, making it a daily or regular part of our routine can be really helpful. And even in the winter time when it's cold, I have this cozy spot on the balcony set up, and I get my cozy warm blanket and I just sit outside in the sun for like 10 or 15 minutes. I put on some warmer clothes, and then that works as well. So those were my tips, and I have an entire video dedicated to how to stop feeling tired all the time, which also is very related to sunshine, of course, even though I don't really talk about that in the video. So there are a lot more things we can do to feel more energized. So if you want to watch that, then make sure to click here. And thanks so much for watching. And one last thing I mentioned, I have finished writing the book Slimming Secrets now. It'll be out soon. So if you want to be the first one to be notified when it's out, then make sure to sign up to my newsletter, and then you'll be the first one to know. All right, bye.